and gentlemen, welcome to the Fears and Phobias iceberg. Anywho, if you don't know what an iceberg is, I suggest you probably grow up, because it's been going on for like 2 years. I feel like you actually have to be a little, like, I don't even know. Like, you gotta watch and enjoy Skibbity Toilet to not know what these are. The first fear we have today is agoraphobia, more commonly known as the fear of leaving a place you find safe. Some examples would be white people leaving Panera Bread or Red Robin's, gamers leaving Discord, or Republicans leaving a Turning Point USA convention. Fear number 2 is arachnophobia, a pretty common fear held by 1 in 4 Americans, and it is the extreme fear of spiders. Also the name of a 2002 horror movie, which I always seem to confuse with Eight-Legged Freaks, which is the kick-ass, way cooler version. So, moving on. You know your boy's a little chill-pilled, so had to throw on the flannel to stunt on the hose. Regardless, fear number 3 is going to be acrophobia, which is the intense fear of heights. I'm not quite sure if it's defined as falling from the heights or the heights itself.
Oh my god! Oh,
fear number 4 is mysophobia, the fear of dirt or things being dirty, which is a fear I know you don't have. Yeah, you little dirtball, you little piggy, rolling around in your barnyard slop.
Oh my god!
1880s chimney sweep soot. Building up all that gamer gunk on your gaming chair. Yeah, you're a little freak, aren't you? Number 5 is apophobia, and I'm only going off by how a white woman on YouTube told me to pronounce it, but that is the fear of bees. Not all insects, just bees, much like Michael with a bee.
Bee, and I've been afraid of insects my entire...
Stop. Where? Where's the bee?
there's a bee.
There's a tier list for phobias and fears. I think 5 would be S tier because it is claustrophobia, which is the fear of confined spaces. But everyone really knows it's the fear of that one mall Santa. When you sat down, you kind of felt a lump of coal in his pants. Next up is thalassophobia, the fear of oceans or deep bodies of water. Now, if you've ever played Subnautica and heard the Leviathan threat,
multiple Leviathan class life forms in the region. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it?
I would completely and fully understand why and how you have this fear. Other than that, I think you're just kind of a pussy. Next up is the fear that I heard all really tough, strong, hot, sexy, big muscled, giant wiener having dudes have, which would be, it hopefully will be behind me, and that is the fear of snakes. And if you can look me in the eye, man to man, or woman to woman, or they, them to they, them, and you can tell me that something without legs can move that fast, I'll put my dick away, buddy. This pissing contest's over, and you win it. Following one of the most intense and logical fears, that of snakes, is something a little more tame, and that is going to be aerophobia, which is the fear of flying or flight. Now, I'm going to assume it means in planes or helicopters, but I can only help think that this was crafted by somebody who the government tested on and could fly, and they were scared, and they're like, oh man, I guess we gotta make this a thing now, huh? The next fear we have is autophobia. Pretty simple. It's just being afraid of being alone, which is something I know a lot of you gamers don't have a problem with. Am I right, ladies? Next up, we have emetophobia, which is the fear of vomiting. Now, my lovely, wonderful girlfriend actually has this fear, and the last time I got sick, I actually had to go outside and throw up. Now, if you have to throw up, throwing up outside, top 10 option ever. The entire world is your toilet, dude. It's sick. Well, literally and figuratively, I guess, but regardless, it's a pretty valid fear, in my opinion. Like, I can't say I like throwing up, it just doesn't bother me, but I can totally understand why some people, hate it. I mean, imagine if you were this lady.
Wait, is she cute?
Following emetophobia is now entomophobia, which is the fear of all bugs. Now, I believe bugs are separated from arachnids, being 8-leg versus 6-leg. So, you're pretty brave around spiders, but I guess a little bugaboo can get ya. Again, following is xenophobia, which is the fear of aliens. Now, aliens are technically defined as people coming into your country or foreigners, but everyone knows it's actually the fear of xenomorphs.
Your head looks like a dildo.
Here's a good one that will get you made fun of easily: hemophilia. Now, that is the fear of blood via hemorrhaging, hemorrhoid. That one's kind of icky. And a fun fact is my grandfather used to insult us with the word hemoglobin when we were children. Now, we had no clue that was an insult or part of blood, So my first day of freshman year, I was sitting next to this girl. I was talking to her all summer, had a pretty big crush on her, and the teacher said hemoglobin. I was the only person in my class to start laughing hysterically, and I got sent to the office because of the word hemoglobin. With back-to-back bangers here, we have cynophobia, which is the fear of dogs, which if you played Call of Duty World at War or any Call of Duty with zombies, you will understand this fear of being 8 years old on a 360 way past your bedtime, and all you hear is, "Fetch me their soul." Unless you hit the nice little glitch spot via Mr. Raffle Waffle, so he's kind of the GOAT for that one, to be honest. Here's kind of another weird one. It's algophobia, but it is the fear of pain. Now, that one's weird to me because, I don't know anyone who's scared of pain. Because, at a certain point, I feel like you can't just cry to make things feel better anymore. It just, you just get sick to your stomach, you get that pit, and you're like, oh, dude, this sucks. But if you're afraid of pain, I don't know, man. Here's a good one. Well, no, not good. Hold on. It's a common one. It is homophobia, which until I was 10, I thought I was, but not for the reason you're thinking. See, homophobia, I was born in 2001, so homophobia was constantly in the news, with Obama becoming president, making gay marriage legal. You would always hear homophobia, sexual everything. Now, I was 8, so I was like, oh, that means a house. And you know what came out in 2007, 2008? The movie Monster House. So for a hot minute, I straight up thought I was homophobic because I thought you were supposed to be afraid of houses. So that was my fun little fact. But homophobia is the fear of homosexuality. Trypanophobia is the fear of needles, which it seems a lot of people have this, but they're scared of just medicine needles and syringes versus tattoos. I know my Uncle Chuck wasn't afraid of syringes and needles. Following this is very, very well placed. It is the latrophobia, and that is the fear of doctors, which Yeah, have you seen the evil scientist doctor at the end of Plants vs. Zombies in his giant zombie mech? I was so scared. Well, I have a double pea shooter. How am I supposed to do any damage towards that thing? It's not fair. But there is Dr. Oak. He's pretty tight, I guess. Again, with a fear that really, really tough guys have, such as myself, is aculophobia, which is the fear of the dark. And I mean, come on. How is this not scary? Thanatophobia is the fear of the dying process. Not death itself, but the process of dying, which is kind of just life, I guess. So unless you're like playing too much of The Sims or something, I don't really know how you would develop this fear. But yeah, that was tier 1 of the fears iceberg. It's first video, so tell me if I was an idiot.